Hello, I am Tommi Kokko, and I am the luthier behind ipguitars. Now, from the very beginning, I have been working toward having ipguitars work around three core values: sustainability, reliability, and responsibility. And to that end, I am so unbelievably happy to tell each and every single one of you about something that I have been looking forward to doing for years now. Some older subscribers might recognize these three guitars laid out on the table here. These are the very first guitars that worked as a sort of foundation for what ipguitars is to this day. The Sparrow. This shape is what birthed the Icarus shape, and it is the first Icarus shape that I had done with the carves and contours and basic idea of what I wanted to do. Speaking of Icaruses, the first concept prototype of the Icarus itself. And last but certainly not least, the very first concept prototype of the flagship dataless model for IP. While I really do love these guitars, unfortunately it has come time for me to part with them and for me to find a new home for them. This is where Istutapuita.fi comes in. As I cannot sell these guitars as actual proper products because, well, they are what they are. They are prototypes and concepts and things that were experimented on when I was trying to get my footing toward what I wanted to do with ipguitars. I saw an opportunity to participate in something that I have wanted to do for a very long time: plant trees to combat climate change. I began researching for possible partners, and Istutapuita.fi ticked all the boxes for me. Tree planting is generally considered to be one of the most effective ways to curb climate change. And Istutapuita.fi, with its carbon sink projects, seemed like the perfect opportunity to get involved. The core idea of afforestation lies in carbon sinks, which, as their name might suggest, store carbon. When carbon is released into the atmosphere, its natural cycle distributes it within the atmosphere, the seas, and the vegetation cover. Now the problem lies in that less and less carbon is being actually stored in seas or vegetation and more in the atmosphere. As you might be aware, carbon dioxide warms up the atmosphere. That is why carbon sinks are very important. They reduce the greenhouse effect by absorbing carbon dioxide and reducing its release into the atmosphere. This makes every single tree significant. Istutapuita.fi concentrates on converting old peatlands into carbon sink forests. The primary goal of a carbon sink is to grow a stand of trees that absorbs carbon and therefore offsets the carbon dioxide emissions of the residual peat. In Finland, there are approximately 4,904,000 acres of peatland and unused fields, which, instead of storing carbon, release large quantities of carbon dioxide. It is estimated that these greenhouse gas emissions make up almost 13% of the total nationwide emissions. If these peatlands are not repurposed for afforestation, they will continually release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. According to a report by the Natural Resources Institute Finland, a singular tree planted in peatlands will absorb an average of 600 kilograms of carbon dioxide within 100 years. Not only that, but these afforestation projects serve a greater purpose as well. In Finland, forestry used more than 80 million cubic meters of wood in 2020 alone. The state of our forests today, in terms of carbon sinks, is not really that good at all. Increased felling puts pressure on the swift circular economy of a tree because as it reaches the ideal age in terms of carbon sinks, it's cut down to provide for the demands of our forest industry. I have specifically partnered up with Istutapuita.fi because we share common values, just like sustainability and responsibility, while, combating climate change. The fact that I can also do this domestically is a huge bonus, because Finns really do have a rather long way to go to cut down on our CO2 emissions. But with steps like this, we can really put a dent into that and move forward, put really good steps and strides into affecting a situation that affects everybody globally, essentially leading by example. If you yourself are interested in helping out with afforestation and everything that I've talked about here, do go check out Istutapuita.fi, their website. It is also available in English and it has tons of information for you to check out. Every single tree counts, and you can also plant a tree to make a change. What on earth does this have to do with guitars, you might be asking? Well, these 3 guitars that I have now talked about and mentioned, briefly, as it might be, there's going to be a video coming out on each and every single guitar where I go through a full inspection, put on new strings, do setups, just basic maintenance, and make sure that they play as good as they can. And then come Black Friday, so that's going to be November 25th, there's going to be an auction that will go live for each of these 3 guitars. I'm going to have that auction going for at least 10 days. There will be details coming up on that as this develops. But at the end of the auction and all the money that has been gathered, every single cent will go toward planting trees through Istutapuita.fi. So this is a very real way for you to contribute while also feeding that desire to have a new instrument in your hands and own a part of ipguitars history. These guitars are completely unique. I look forward to going through all of them in great detail with you later on. If you want to own a cool, unique, handmade guitar that you won't get anywhere else, this is your chance to actually do something great with the money that you're going to be spending on a guitar like this. And it's for a great cause. Understatement of the century that might be, but you know, it is a great cause that it does affect everyone on this planet. While we might not be able to stop climate change completely, we are more than capable of slowing it down by a lot. And that's what we need trees for. So help me plant some trees, and I have been looking forward to this for a very, very long time, and I'm so glad that I have an opportunity to finally do something about it. So join me on this journey, why won't you? And let's get cracking on setting these 3 up in time for the auction. See you in the next video where we go over the Sparrow.